How good has Florida State cornerback Renardo Green been for the San Francisco 49ers in 2024? PFF recently released a article talking about their lockdown percentage and who was at the top of this list in week 16. And to explain what lockdown percentage is, because it is a metric that does need some explaining, it's a metric that focuses on coverage, measuring how well a defender prevents a receiver from getting open. It excludes plays where the defender intentionally gives up space to protect the first down marker or limit yards after the catch. So, in layman's terms, it's when you're press man trying to stop them, and when you're in a 3rd and 25 and you allow a 7-yard catch and you wrap up and tackle, that doesn't count. That's the part that you need to keep in the context with Renardo Green. So, looking at this report, in week 16, the lockdown report is with a minimum of 7 opportunities, meaning 7 times that you've been in coverage. So, Del Pettis, I'll be honest, I'm not really too sure who that is. 7 opportunities, 85.71% lockdown percentage for the New England Patriots. Tariq Woolen, we're all familiar with Reek Woolen. 20 opportunities, 85% in week 16. Obviously, week 16 was last week. This week against the Bears, who knows what that looks like? That game was awful. Renardo Green, 11 opportunities and an 81.82% lockdown percentage. And when you look at the matchup, it's against the Miami Dolphins and Tyreek Hill. And I want to dive into that a little bit more before we get into exactly where he was in terms of where he is for the rest of the season and where the rest of the 49ers actually land. So in week 16 against Devon Achane, there were 4 targets, 4 receptions for 50 yards, 12.5 per reception. Those plays are screen passes. And that's why that's not taken into account, right? That's not a one-on-one matchup. So your best way to define this is against Tyreek Hill and against Malik Washington because Jalen Waddle didn't play. Now, Tyreek Hill, he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. I think we can all agree. This season hasn't been nearly as explosive as last season. But when lined up against Tyreek Hill, 2 total targets, 0 catches allowed, 0 yards. And against Malik Washington, 2 targets, 1 reception, 19 yards. That means 4 targets in coverage, 1 catch, 19 yards. That is an incredible test for a rookie. Renardo Green automatically bringing in early returns. Now, where does this line up with other 49ers in week 16? Well, I can take you through it, and we're going down. Unfortunately, Diamador Lenore had to go against other people, and I believe he's somewhere on this list if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. He should be a little bit higher than Charvarius Ward. Nope, I don't think I see him here. And that doesn't mean anything. Obviously, Diamador Lenore is great and just, again, had to deal with a little bit more, possibly, when it comes to that. And Charvarius Ward was there. So Charvarius Ward, 8 opportunities, 25% lockdown. Not on the list. But let's look at the 2024 season data for Renardo Green, and I think this is a better indicator of where he is as a cornerback, as a cover corner. And right now, Renardo Green sits at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th in the NFL in lockdown percentage with a minimum of 80 opportunities. And that's 92 opportunities for Renardo Green. He sits at 53.26. 18th. I think that is a hell of a season. And let's look at the names around him. Sauce Gardner is 3 spots ahead of him, 54.6. Brian Branch, one of the better slot corners in the league, 53.85%. Denzel Ward, one of the better corners in the league, 53.45. Even one of his rookies, Kool-Aid McKinstry from the Saints, 52.94 with about 20 more opportunities behind Renardo Green. And if you want to know where Diamador Lenore is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots behind Renardo Green with 122 opportunities, 51.64% lockdown rate. The 49ers obviously have this kind of pivoting moment where Mooney Ward is either going to be here or he's not. Most likely he's going to move on because you've already paid Diamador Lenore. And now Renardo Green is emerging. But I want to talk about Renardo Green's season as well, too. And I think this is what's important to contextualize. In 2 games this season, in 3 games this season, I apologize. In 3 games this season, Renardo Green has had over an 80 coverage grade, according to PFF. In week 14 against Chicago, 80.8. In week 10 against Tampa Bay, 83.9. In week 8 against Dallas, 91.4. And when you look at the target to reception ratio, fine, let's do that. Let's do that because we need to contextualize that as well. Renardo Green didn't start playing a full complement of snaps until week 6 Thursday Night Football against Seattle. By the way, in week 4, he was forced onto the field for 23 snaps. It felt like that game was out of hand. Didn't allow a catch in that game. Okay. But again, 23 snaps. And of the first 4 games that he started, 23, 9, 30, 34 snaps for the first 4, right? You play 71 in your first real action. You get targeted 11 times. You have 5 receptions, allow 45.5 reception percentage, 76.3 coverage grade in your first game. Against the Kansas City Chiefs, 63.7 coverage grade, 2 targets, 1 reception, 26 yards. Against the LA Rams in week 15, Renardo Green was targeted 0 times for 0 catches. He finished with grades of 72.8 defensively, 70.7 run defense, 76.9 tackling, 71.5 in coverage. And on the season, Renardo Green has been targeted 55 times for 36 catches and allowed 411 yards for a total coverage grade of 76.5 and a total defensive grade of 72.2. Well, Jason, that sounds great. All of that stuff sounds amazing. Where exactly does he rank amongst all corners? And I think that is something that, again, is a good way of looking at all this. And especially we have to put in snap count. We have to make sure we contextualize with how many times he's been on the field, against who, and whatever. Fine. Let me read you some of the better names in the league. Patrick Surtain, number 1. Marlon Humphrey, number 2. Trent McDuffie, number 3. Deron Bland, number 5. Jair Alexander, number 8. Cooper DeJean, rookie, number 10. Technically a cornerback. Renardo Green, with 325 passing snaps, and all 325 have been in coverage, ranks number 12 in the NFL according to PFF, 76.5 coverage grade. And all those other numbers go with it. When he's targeted, 92.3 NFL quarterback rating, allows 5.7 per target, 8.7 per reception. The young man has done everything that the 49ers wanted and more. And it's hard to look at this young man and not be excited about the future with Renardo Green and Diamador Lenore as your top 2 corners moving forward. Monday will be a phenomenal test with a great Detroit Lions offense, and they will put pressure on the young man. But if these early returns continue, this is a slam dunk, out of here, knocked out of the park draft pick for a premium position. And the 49ers have put themselves in a position where they have a young, impactful, cheap football player. If you like this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for when we go live. Renardo Green blossoming before our eyes. Have a great night.